And I take a great pleasure in inviting all our esteemed speakers on the panel for today evening. Dr. Preety Shah,
Good evening to everybody.
Dr. Manish Shah Jagpal,
Everybody.
Dr. Dr. Yamini, Dr. Ashish Mehta, Dr. Divya, and Dr.
Need for the person to be there close, my time, me time, family time. So I thought let us have this roundtable conference, and many of them really liked that and the topic crush between the cation and the anion. And on the Valentine Eve, that makes it all the more important for everybody to attend to this particular thing. So I'm just waiting for some of the questions to come in. So basically, the whole idea for this entire session, my dear friends, is to get your questions to be solved. What all difficulties or what all problems or what all misunderstanding or understanding about the salts are there to be clarified by these real good senior genuine homeopaths on the panel. So I expect you all to kindly send in your questions so that we can begin the topic on this particular subject. Till then, Ashish sir, your idea about salts in your practice?
See the salts in the practice. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay. So frequently we see salts in our practice, but basically as my Materia Medica is not so good, generally I more focus on the patient's language, and through patient generally I learn Materia Medica. This is what my learning of Materia Medica. So mostly patients guide me regarding selection of the remedy rather than I choose any remedy. And salts are frequently used. I do agree.
Yes, yes. Dr. Preety, your idea about it?
So first of all, I have to say that I'm a student of Dr. Shekhar. Okay, so whatever I am going to speak, I'm going to speak what I have learned from him and all my teachers. But as sir, I think you rightly mentioned, especially in the Indian context, and the people that we see, we see a lot of people from row 3 and row 4, especially in India. And a lot of these elements are salts, so there are, individuals who belong to the left side, and then there is some element or some salt from the right side. These salts could be from the same row, or they could be a theme of where there is some element or some feature of a particular row, and the salt is the crush is with an element from another row. So yes, it's true. We use a lot of salts, and this understanding of the system, of the kingdom, of the periodic table that Jan Scholten put in place, and then Dr. Sankaran worked on it, and Dr. Shekhar has done so much work on this. It kind of, using the system along with a lot of repertory or keynote understanding helps it. Now, a lot of these salt remedies are not on the repertory. Hence, the understanding of the periodic table and this thematic understanding is very, very important.
Very true. Very true.
So yeah, I mean, this is a very, very practical topic. It's not something which is, rare, or, this is not something which is fancy prescription. It's something that will become your bread and butter in practice when we're speaking to students. So this is really something that we need to understand in as much details as possible, because it's going to be very, very useful.
Very true. Very true. So there's a question to you specifically, Dr. Yamini, how to differentiate bitrate feelings in halogen?
So good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity of learning and sharing. And for the specific question, I would like to mention that, of course, the whole halogen group from fluorine to iodine, we see the bitrate feeling. But if you might have seen Sir's a few of sir's videos or some lectures, he always shares that how the reactivity increases or decreases from left to right and above downwards. So in that way, I want to say that the bitrate feeling, the depth of bitrate feeling actually increases from above downwards. So in chlorine, because the every element gets little bit heavier because the atomic number increases. So as you go down in the periodic table, in all the rows, if the atomic number is increasing, that means the weight is increasing. So the weight, the burden of any feeling will also increase. So in chlorine, or fluorine, you see the bitrate feeling that, oh, I don't want you. As you go down in bromine, in iodine, you see that, keeping that relationship with the alkali metal or with the other element becomes really burdensome and they want to break free. That's why in iodine, we all have learned in the physical symptom aspect that iodine is for hard glands. And the relationship of iodines are also like very hard to keep the relationship because it is heavier. The bitrate feeling is deeper. So you see the bitrate feeling, but in whatever I have learned, I have understood that that goes deep and deep and deep.
Yes, very true. Very true. So there is one more question that has come up at this moment of time. In carbons and silica, when they are in the crisis moment, they say like shivering coldness in palms and soles. Like this, what is the experience we see in halogens, phosphorus, sulfur like elements? Manish, if you could answer this thing.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to understand the question, but I would also like to share a little bit before answering this question about it's such a wonderful session that you have started today about the minerals. The the universe, the existence of universe itself has started from hydrogen, helium, and we can see any beginner who needs to master the sensation method per se, or the basics of understanding of the levels. The beginning with periodic table is just good, how it goes from existence to identity to security and up till the performance, and how all those rows, and especially the extremes of the periodic table, the first and the first few columns and the last few columns, how they fall in love with each other to exchange their outer rows, and how that wonderfully we see in the patients coming from lithium to natrum to kali, and it's just amazing. And these elements that you are asking me about, the central elements, the silica, the carbon, the phosphorus, and the sulfur. And there is also one more question in the chat of differentiating the sulfur from muriaticum. Yeah, so I think I will take it along. These are all mainly, except the carbon, rest of the elements are belonging to the identity row. So if we see carbon, as I have learned from you, sir, carbon is a universal, network of existence of this world. So it has to bound with everybody. But the main theme of the carbon is that the lack of reactivity, or even we can say the polarity. If they get excited, they get too much excited, and then they get exhausted also very
Correct.
soon. And then they need, we know these all typical symptoms of air hunger, and they need to uncover, and they collapse, and then they become very, very cold also, especially in the chronic states. The lack of vitality, the lack of reactivity we see, and because carbon, we see it's the koila of life.
True.
It's needed for the energy production in a human being. And as we see this in silica, that if we are comparing the coldness of carbon and silica, Carbon is more of an existential crisis. It's the metabolic crisis, uh, along with the claustrophobia and all, we see that. But in silica, it's the patient is eating well, but it is not getting assimilated in the body, because of which the chronic state of that lack of vitality, the metabolism is not the nutritional metabolism. It's not pumping up, it's not uh, taking its flight. So that's why hands are cold, head is cold, feet are cold, and everything is cold. The ignition is not happening inside. So that's how I personally, compare carbon and silica. And of course, if you want to add on to this, it would be wonderful to learn from you as well, sir.
So even being on this side, I still have to add on something to that.
We'll always keep learning from you,
I
always.
thought at least I had a chance to be on this side of the fence for today.
We don't want to leave a chance to learn from you, sir.
I'll add on, don't worry.
Sure.
The next question that has come up is, if anions and cations combine, which features dominate more? Like, are we going to see more of an anionic feature or of a cation's features? So Divya, if you could answer this. Dr. Divya?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening to one and all. And I am so blessed because of Shekhar sir's teaching since the beginning of my career. Like I completed BHMS and just joined sir's teaching at Gurukul. So whatever I know is because of him. So the difference between the anion and cation, how to differentiate. See, if you have to see if the electron of configuration of cation is more. For example, we will take an example of Cali carb and Cali phos. Okay, both are salts which is of potassium. So if it is Cali carb, the electronic configuration of Cali is more and carbon is less. So in case you will see predominantly Cali features, which will come straight forward. Through questioning only, then you have to find out the carbon features. When the it is Cali phos, because of the high electronic configuration of phosphorus in the last ring, compared to, even though the number of electrons of phosphorus is less than Cali, but in Cali the last ring holds only one electron, so it is highly unstable. Whereas for phosphorus the last ring has more electrons, so it is more stable. So when it comes to Cali phos, you will see in the case the phosphorus theme forefront rather than Cali. So then we have to question the other part to find out the cation. So this is how it happens. So when the cation is prominent, we have to find the anion. When the anion is prominent, we have to find the cation.
So
Thank you,
normally
sir.
we pull up the one which is more prominent. So we see for example, in Mac phos or Kali phos or calcareous phos, we see the phosphorus quality being overshining than that of the cation. So in majority of the case, we will see the phosphorus element, and then we simply think it could be probably only phosphorus as the remedy. But the shade of this dependence or the shade of this clingy nature of this fantastic cation that is in the first column, which is just shown as a very, as a trace of it. We need to find out what would that person do if this is not available. How would it be? The vice versa question, what we can understand. And then you can see the nature, the clingy nature, the dependence part that we actually have not seen openly comes up when we put this type of questions. So when you are getting these type of situations in a case, try to find out the other way around also. Is there a cation or is it purely a single element? That will really give us the clarity to find out. Otherwise, many a time we might miss the salt, especially like this of Kali sulf and Kali phos and these type of things, because sulfur and phosphorus, these elements overshine their qualities to that of the first column cation that is there, right? So good. Then another question that has come up is how to decide in a particular case single cation is the remedy. Priyanka, if you could take up this.
Good evening to all of you. And such a wonderful thing to experience this basically. Thanks to sir. So, sir, before going ahead with this question, I would just like to add one more thing as an answer to the previous question, which was related to the silica and carbon, which is like, this is like, age-old question for the many discussions at Gurukul, at, various platforms, because both of them, when they are in the crisis or when the sensation of carbonates and silicate comes up, it is always in the form of, coldness and shivering and blankness. So if we see, the end result for both of them is same. So many a times it is a confusion for a prescriber. Should I select a silicate as an anion or a carbonate as an anion? And I really agree that this happens. So the basic thing which differs in both of them is what creates this state in them. If we directly see the end result, then there will be confusion forever. But we have to go one step backward. What creates this coldness? What creates this numbness, this shivering, this lack of confidence, blankness? For silica, it is the situation when they have to prove themselves. Wherever their image is being challenged, where 4 people are seeing them, and now it is the time for them to perform, to stand on stage, to deliver. And being silica, they have to be, perfect. They have to present their presentation in a perfect format. It has to be the way they have practiced it 100 times. That's what silica is known for. And when they foresee that that is not happening in the eyes of the observer, that is the time silica crumbles down and becomes cold and shivering and numb, all this starts. In the form of carbonates, for them, image is not an issue. So whenever you ask the patient, when you come to this state, when you fall cold, when you tremble, silica will 100% give you the situations where they have to perform. In case of carbon, for them it is when I'm confused, when I have to choose between two things, when I have to choose between what is right and wrong. This is the situation when I get confused. So the complete chapter of image, my identity, my performance completely gets deleted. And now you are clear, I have to prescribe silicates or carbonates. So that's why sir always tell, don't directly jump on what's the experience on mind and what's the experience on body. Because there are many remedies, for them the experience is same. But when you go one step behind, when do you feel this or when do you experience this? What situations bring in this situation for you? That clears everything. So this is the answer for the last question.
Very good. Very good.
Now we will go ahead with this question, particularly when there is only in any particular case, when there is only single cation is the remedy, then how to decide that? As we always tell, in a given case, we do not decide a remedy on any particular instances. We will see in that given case, stressful incidents, we will see dreams, we will see fears, happy incidences, and any other situations which comes up during the conversation. In that, if we are seeing a pure shade of any one element and not at all, even during the crisis situation, when we ask them, when the particular thing is not there, at that moment, what happens? If the other shades, maybe of any kind of anion, maybe carbonate, silicate, phosphate, nothing is coming, then that is the time when we have to purely see the metals or the single elements. And this is actually in practice, quite rarely it happens. But whenever it happens, there will be clear-cut idea because we would not see anything else coming up.
And
This is from...
And another aspect of the metals for that matter is there is always this idea of to shine. Son, you have to shine in your subject, in your classes. You have to be, you have to really be a person who has a substance in themselves, an aspect of high boiling point, and they're very ductile and malleable. They're very flexible. They don't get easily ignited or easily angry. Whenever there is any debate or wherever there is any sort of argument, you will not see the metals getting so easily angered because of their high boiling point and high ductility and malleability. They will in fact put you into a question. What do you think your idea is? Okay, let's go with your understanding. Maybe I might be wrong. This is how they would put it up. Maybe I might be wrong, son. Your idea about it.
Influenced. Natrums, magnesiums are easily influenced as against the metals. And another important thing that you see is metals will be like this. This is how they would show their solidity. They will show that there is substance in them. That's the most important aspect of these alchemic metals like ferrum, like cuprum, like plumbum, like aurum, and all these people who have a shine and glow, and they need to show that shine by performance, right? So another question that is coming up for Ashish sir, the aspects of value for carbonates and sulfates. How do we understand these carbonates and sulfate salts?
What is my observation and from the books also, that in the carbonicums, there is a very strong connection with the father figure or father. Generally, we consider the muriaticums with the mother. The same way, in the carbonicums, there are either the father or the father figure. Connections are very strong, while the sulfuricums are more with the partners. According to Sholton, he has mentioned regarding mainly the husband and wife, but it may be any of the partner. It may be friend also. If you see the Kali Sulf, then there is a connection with the friend or partner. In the business partnership also it comes. So this is how we can consider the various aspects of the carbonicum and sulfuricum from all the books, rather than thinking only on one or two lines. If we widen our choices from the book or materia medicas, we can widen our horizons also.
So Dr. Preety, I've got one question. In many cases, we have a lot of information, too much. In one area, we find the genius of natrum phos. Next are clear-cut indication, mac phos or natrum sulf. And confusion is increasing as you proceed in case land up with a messed up situation. How would you advise with this particular thing?
Yeah, a lot of marriages also end up in a lot of confusion and mess. Not
Mismatched
very motivating
chemistry,
on
that is.
Valentine's Eve.
Mismatched chemistry. Love at first sight and divorce at first fight.
All right. So
Newton's law is applicable there also.
yeah, absolutely. Anion, cation, crush. Perfect topics. You will create a lot of trouble in lot of
That's why
on
Priyanka
Valentine's Eve.
says, good, at least you're not a female and being a mother-in-law. नहीं तो कोई बहू टिकती नहीं.
No, but I think it's a very valid question and a very practical difficulty, right? So I think the answers are very, very fundamental and basic. It's not rocket science. What happens is sometimes we just are going with the story. And the patient is talking about something, we go there and then we say, oh, this is natrum phos. And then something else comes up, oh, now this is mac phos. Oh, now this is natrum sulf, yeah? Because we're just going. So what happens in case taking is, while we are it is very important to go into the detail or the depth to zoom in, it's equally very important to zoom out and see what is the theme overall. Is the theme of identity, is the theme of creativity, is the theme of responsibility, is it the theme that whether I exist? So really it's important to take a bird's eye view, just go back and say, what is it that is really this patient is talking about? And second is, Also to see what is the theme that is consistently coming in all the areas. Dr. Priyanka just mentioned some time back, right? She spoke about nature and dreams and fears and crisis moment and childhood. So what we are saying, that theme should stay true, should be valid in different aspects. It should be consistent, universal, should be to different, times of, the patient's life, in childhood also, in current crisis moment also, in dreams also, in fear also. So if we are able to do it, are able to zoom in and zoom out consistently during our case. And if we are able to see that, okay, this theme is valid, this is consistent, connecting through and through the case, that's the valid point. Then we will not get confused. At the same time, please, with these themes, please keep your fundamental very strong. So if you find some characteristic symptoms, some keynotes, some PQRS, please keep that in hand. Yeah, so once you know that, okay, this looks like natrum phos, but confirm, is that peculiar cure rare symptom also confirming that particular remedy? I think if we do this with practice, with dedication, go on and on and on, I'm sure it will get better. It's still a mess for me, many, many times. But I'm sure it is lesser mess for Dr. Shekhar. And I'm sure it's even lesser mess for, somebody who's doing it for so long consistently. So with experience, it will get better. That's what I get. I assure you from my experience, with experience, if you go on doing it, it will get better.
So Yamini, for you, one question over here: how to differentiate between confusion of alumina and that of confusion of carbons?
Yes, sir. Again, very important question. But see, if you learn periodic table and understand different rows and all the cations and anions, you'll understand the carbon is a very special element. It's an entirely different element, because even if you see it from a chemistry point of view, knowledge of chemistry, you will see it is a tetravalent element. Okay, so it has different states, specifically 2 different states. In one state, you will see that carbon is very, very stable and non-reactive, which we see in carbo wedge and a lot of other carbs where, the carbon is inactive, not reactive at all. Because carbon का confusion क्या है ना, 4 valency है. या तो it takes too much effort to, to get connected with 4 people or 4 other elements, or what he can do is just stay stable, whatever it is. So it's not like the other alkali metals or the other halogens, which has only 1 or 2 valencies. It has 4 valencies. So in one state in nature also, you see that carbon at 6 degrees is solid. Okay, in at room temperature also it is almost solid, like semi-solid sort of. So that's why carbon is a different element. But still, about confusion, I would like to say that it belongs to second row. So we all know that second row, the theme of the second row is the partition from the mother, or parturition, the birth process. So like Dr. Preety said, you have to zoom out and look at, what is the background of that element. So in carbon, you will see the confusion is that can I stay on my own, or I need someone to become stable? Because in that column only, carbon, you start separating from the mother. So you have your own identity, but it's still very raw, very new, and you are into this world, but not completely independent. But still, you can stay. So the confusion is, can I be on my own, or I want someone? And can I be myself? So only carbon with 4 valencies, no problem. Or I want, some other elements to complete myself. So in nature also, you see diamond, which is again carbon with a very strong bond, very stable and nothing. And all other carbs like petroleum, all the petrol products, and graphite. Graphite is such a very, very soft element. So that is a second row confusion about, parting from somebody and having your own I would say not stability, but your own existence. It is about existence. And in, like you are asking about alumina. So aluminium is in third row. Third row is about identity, care, and nourishment. So alumina's confusion is confusion about, who I am. What is my identity? And it is in the third column. Carbon is little on the right side. It is in 10th column. So homeopathically, we have shifted the column a little bit. But in homeopathic understanding, it is in the middle column, which is a summit column. So in summit, you are little stable. In alumina, you're very, very, very unstable. So confusion is about here. It is about identity. I always tell this when I teach alumina, that alumina people cannot choose the color of their dresses. They cannot choose whether they want to have a simple dal or a tadka dal. So very, little confusions. Carbons, it's all about existence. Do I exist alone or I need somebody else?
Perfect. Perfect. So do we have any other questions? So dear friends, a lot of these sessions are being conducted. Even with Dr. Yamini conducts so many sessions. Homeopathic Musing has got so many courses that are coming, that come up with different topics and different speakers. I think there's a vast pool of learning as far as this thing. And nowadays, with sitting at home, and you can learn so many things and so much of this thing. Not like previously, there would be one seminar somewhere happening and we have to attend that particular thing, right? So one last question to Dr. Priyanka: how would you advise the participants regarding the detailed understanding of the salts and its entire essence?
Yes, sir. So first of all, I would like to tell this to all our participants, all the people who are 90 plus people who are over here, and all of them who are going to watch this particular session on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, that this particular topic of salts, this is just a germinating seed that we have sown today. There would be a lot of questions, because these are our daily bread and butter. We prescribe these remedies on a day-to-day basis, and to master them we have to read about them, talk about them, and discuss about them with amongst ourselves. Only then we can master these prescriptions, that is for sure. So if you have any other questions and queries, we would definitely take one by one. You all would be knowing that recently Shekhar sir have also joined in Instagram, and he's very passionately following it up, and every day he would post a learning video. So if any of your questions are remaining over here, we would definitely take up one by one, and we would provide you the solution and answers of it on sir's Instagram channel. So you can definitely follow sir there on Instagram. Sir's handle name is shekhar.algundgi. So you can follow sir, and there would be regular learning. Apart from that, can you see my screen? Is it visible?
Yes, yes. Yes, it's visible.
Okay, okay. So apart from that, a beautiful possibility of learning salts is coming your way in the form of this particular webinar, which is, like a boon, and it's like a one-stop solution for all your queries related to salt. It's a 40 hours plus sessions, and it has covered all the basic prescriptions related to salt. This particular webinar series is going to start from 15th of March, and it would be every Saturday and Sunday, 2 hours. It is a recorded series, but I must say, being one of the witnessing person of making of this series and working on it, it is worth attending it. It would clear off many of your queries. Like many questions which were coming up at the moment over here, all the solutions of that you will get in detail with the help of cases in this series. And sir's cases are, absolute gem, and only best hand-picked cases have been, selected for this series, which has, literally sometimes many of sir's teacher would also comment that sometimes it so happens that it feels that as though the patient have literally read the book and come. But like that, because once you hear those cases, that particular remedy you would not forget that remedy in your life for sure. Additionally, with this recorded series, myself and Sir would be on the panel, and we would also invite other teachers also to join in for this. That timely we would be gathering questions from our participants, and we would be giving them the answers with the recent point of view, with the super classes, subclasses, differentiation between the remedies, and many practical tips are coming up. Early bird offer is there till 26th of February, and there would be free gifts, worth rupees 15,000 with this early bird offer. And what you'll be getting in that, Sir's internationally acclaimed book on case taking. This is a rarest of the rare possibility that anytime else this book would be available on such kind of platforms where it is given free, because its value is, it is actually invaluable in practice. Then you will be also getting recorded lectures of Sir in levels of experience and kingdom differentiation, very important topics for knowing your patients and to master your questioning skills and prescriptions. Then you will also get 10% discount on Sir's eco-friendly Swara Homeo Gurukul workshop. Upcoming one, we are also having it in the month of March. Super classes, we are beginning a super class series from 2nd of March. So if anybody wants to join in for that series, we are open to take you. And this discount would be available on the next series, which is starting from May 2025. So all this, grab the opportunity quickly and contact on this particular number 8469 609025. And all these perks are available only till 26th of February. So all the students, this is, mega bonanza, you must pick it up. Then you can also post all your queries or related to your health, or if you want to, book an appointment or ask any queries related to the educational field, you can please contact us on this email ID and number. And you can also follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook with this handle, Swara Homeo Clinic and Gurukul. And as I said, you can also follow Shekhar Sir and dive into daily learnings, thematic learnings with Shekhar.Algundgi. So off to you, sir.
So I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Yamini, Dr. Manish, Dr. Preety, Dr. Ashish sir, Dr. Divya, Dr. Priyanka for being on this panel today evening. I hope the students also and all the practitioners must have benefited with this short and sweet roundtable conferences that I wanted to really organize. So at the end, I take this opportunity to thank all the participants also for giving their valuable time in attending these great personalities on the screen that you are seeing. एंड जाते जाते इतना तो मैं जरूर बोलते जाऊंगा कि कड़ी से कड़ी मिलाते जाओ जंजीर बन जाती है, कड़ी से कड़ी मिलाते जाओ जंजीर बन जाती है, मेहनत से मेहनत करते जाओ तकदीर बन जाती है.
वाह,
थैंक यू.
ग्रेट सर. वाह,
Thank you.
great sir, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are very grateful to you. It was a great opportunity to learn from you, to share whatever we have learned from you at this platform. Thank you so much.
Thanks a million. Thanks a million.
Thank you all. Bye. Take care. And
Bye.
happy Valentine's Day tomorrow.
Happy Valentine's Day to all.
All the cations and anions.
All the cations and anions.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.